Creative Cloud update. Sorry, wrong slide up there. Okay, so what have we done in Photoshop with 3D with regards to printing? As many of you probably know, the models that come out of most 3D modeling packages are not immediately ready to print. So there's a big gap between what comes out the back end of a modeler and what a printer needs in order to print. You might get these models from a modeling tool, you might download them from the internet, they might come from a scanner. In all of those cases, you can't just say, okay, load and print in any other application. What we've done in Photoshop is we close that gap. So now, you just take your model, you load it up, you hit the print button, it works on it for a little while, and it's completely ready to print. We'll resolve any border tightness issues, we'll repair any holes, we'll build support structures as necessary. There's also some amount of editing that you can do once it's in the app. We'll show you a WYSIWYG preview of everything as you go along. And the process, as you're going to see, I'm going to spend most of my time in Photoshop demoing how this works, is very, very simple from start to finish. It's load, print, now it comes. Okay, so let's get to the demo. So I'm going to take this model that came from Shapeways. It's the Shape Man contest model that they have. And immediately you get presented with a dialogue about, okay, how big is this? So it's showing that it's roughly 3 by 3 by 3, roughly. But that is not 3 millimeters. I'm going to say, okay, that's 3 inches. STL files don't inherently have units in them, so there's no way to know, is it inches, is it millimeters? You have to tell us. And then Photoshop, being an image editor, needs a size for the document that it's going to fit in. So I'm just going to go with 1,000 by 1,000. It's going to read in the STL file, and there he is. Now, this is very typical of what you might see when you load a model into a 3D package. He's upside down. How am I going to work with this? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select him and say, all right, because I want to have an exact, I want him to be exactly standing on his feet. I'll make him negative 90 degrees, and we're going to put him on the ground. Great. So now I can easily look around and see where he's at. Okay, so the next thing I want to be able to do is I want to make him look a lot more interesting. One of the great things about Photoshop are all of our color tools. So I'm going to do some color editing tools. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to open up his texture map. And what you're seeing here is the projection of 3D geometry into 2D space. They're called UVs, for those who aren't familiar with it. By default, we make the textures all 1,000 by 1,000. I'm going to give it a little more resolution so that we can really see what's going on here. So there he is unwrapped. Let's put them next to each other. Okay, so here he is on 3D on the right, and there's the texture in 2D on the left. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I don't want him to be gray. Let's make him blue. Great, now he's blue. So all I did was I just took the entire texture and filled it with blue. Being from the Photoshop team, I think I'd like to give him some branding. So here's our logo. I'm going to copy it out of this picture, paste it in here. Now here it is in 2D. All I have to do to put this, I want to get it on his chest. So what I have to do to get this on his chest is align him behind it, because he's still he's still in the 3D layer, and the image is still in a 2D layer above. It is, now it's all lined up, and I just say merge, and there it is. That logo is now stuck to his chest. So I can load in any kind of 2D asset that I want, line up the model where I want to put it, merge down, bam, there it is. This model, as I said, came from Shapeways. I'm going to put something on his back here. Now this is a little dark in the back here, so let me add a light. There we go. Now we got a light on his back. Let's see what's going on. I'm going to grab the text tool in Photoshop. Another very commonly used tool. Shape waves. I don't want that. I want it to be. Let's go with black. Okay. Hit that and merge it down. There we go. Now he's got shape waves on his back, Photoshop on his front. So that was a merge down. We did merge down of an image, put some text on him, and then quickly color in his visor. Let's get his visor lined up here, right here. And all of our 2D tools will still work here. So I can just use the quick select tool. Bam, selects his mask. I'm actually going to do this in another way first. Let's go with maybe red for his visor. Say OK, fill, and then again merge down. And there it is. Now he's got a red visor. So all the tools that you're familiar with using to do any kind of painting or anything like that are all still available.